Sorry, I had to get a drink of water because it's about to go down for Throwback Thursday. It's Brent Harvey, it's A-Hole Productions, and this story is unbelievable, but it's true. I was here in Los Angeles for about a year or so. I was taking an acting class, and a girl in my acting class and I decided to audition for Actors Studio West. Now, to get into Actors Studio West, you have to audition. You have to go through multiple different auditions to get in. And there's a process. You can only do it once a year. You fill out the paperwork. They accept you. You prep a scene. You go in, present it. If they like it, then they move you up to the next level. You do it on up, and then they select you to be in it. Why we want to do is because the Actors Studio West has like this exclusivity that when you get in, you get to take these classes from established members. Like Martin Landau, like was one that I wanted to get in just so I could learn from him. Al Pacino, as you know, came from there. So there were a couple actors who were at the top of my list of my heroes that I always want to work with. One was Paul Newman. Unfortunately, he passed away before I really got going in the industry. There was Al Pacino and De Niro. And on this specific day, my friend and I, we couldn't find a scene, and we decided to go to a bookstore called Samuel French, which is a bookstore in Los Angeles that caters to the industry. It's all about plays, the industry. Like, it's not a typical bookstore. It's all industry related. So we decided to go and meet there, and we go and meet there, and this place is it's tiny. At the time, they've expanded since then, but it was tiny at the time to where literally there's really only about a little bit more than shoulder's width between each book rack. When you go in there against the far wall, there's the book racks, but then there's like a little shelf that then against the wall that then goes up, and there's bookcases up the wall. It's all old wood. It's very cool. At the time, they didn't really have any chairs. It's a small place. They didn't really have any place to sit down. So what she and I did, we went and pulled out a bunch of plays that we wanted to look through to find a scene. So I go over to this one spot and lean on this countertop, if you will, of the bookcase, because it was the only place to go. There's no place to sit, as I said. And we have a whole stack of plays, and we're sitting there and we're leaning on this thing. We're reading them. And as we're doing this, about 30 minutes goes by, all of a sudden this camera crew walks in. There's maybe 3 or 4 people total in the store at the time, including the people that work there. So this camera crew comes in and sets up the camera on the opposite side of the bookcase from where we were leaning. And being a director and writer and filmmaker at the time, I know what's going on. They're setting up the camera, and they're pointing it right where we're at. And of course, then somebody comes by and they keep walking back and forth past us, and the camera's swinging. They're looking through the camera. They're doing a camera test, and I'm going, oh great. So here's where the actor's going to be, and I'm getting upset because I'm like, of all the places in this place, like, we're the only people here. Like, go someplace else. It's not a big place, but there's more room. And I'm thinking, because it's a small crew and everything, I'm just going, well, this is an independent film, student film, and I'm just like, and I told my friend, I was like, I'm not moving. Like, we set up here. This is really the only place to lean. Like, I'm not moving. So she's like, well, we should move. And I'm like, no, I'm not moving. Like, they're going to have to shoot around me. Like, I don't care. We were here first type thing. So we get to our last play as they're still setting up, and we haven't picked a scene yet. So I was like, I saw one earlier I want to go get. So I walk around to the end of that bookshelf that was separating us and the camera person, and I bend down all the way. It's all the way at the bottom, and I bend down all the way at the bottom, and I grab it. And as I stand up, right in front of me is Al Pacino. And my brain, and he just goes, hey, how's it going? And my brain can't quite make this out, because this character, this person that I've known in 2 dimensions on a massive screen for my whole life, is now in 3 dimensions and standing right in front of me. And I just go, hey. And I walk around him, and I go back to my friend, and I don't even look at her, and I go, is that Al Pacino? and I look up to her, and she's like just deer in headlights with her mouth, her jaw just wide open, going. And that answered everything, and she just goes. And I was like, okay. And then I started to really freak out. And it's like I'm not a big movie star, like, you know, I don't geek out that much. I've met a lot of movie stars. I've met a lot of people that I've looked up to. But Al Pacino was just somebody that inside I just could not calm down. I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna see. But then I remember telling her, when my brain cleared up, I realized that person walking through was gonna be Al Pacino, because so the person walking through before was just the test person, the stand-in, but now it's gonna be Al Pacino. So I tell her, I'm definitely not moving. Like, they're gonna have to drag me out of here. She's like, I don't know, I think we should move. I was like, well, you can leave, I'm staying. So I keep setting up, and as I'm watching the corner of my eye what's going on, and finally I see the director come over, and I'm like, I'm not moving. Like, I don't give a shit, man. Like, I was here first. Like, I'm like holding my ground. I'm not missing the opportunity to be in a scene with Al Pacino. The director comes up and he goes, hey guys, we're gonna be shooting a scene here for a film. Would you mind being in it? And I was like, no. Like, so what I thought this guy was going to kick me out, he then was like, no, you can stay and you can be in it. And he goes, look, Mr. Pacino's going to come through here and do his thing. If he interacts with you, interact back. But if not, just keep doing what you're doing. Roger that. So he walks away, and long story short, I got to work with Al Pacino by going into a bookstore. And though we did not get accepted to audition or to get into the actor's studio that time, I didn't care, because I got to work with Al Pacino, and it's on film. It's a film called No Somos Animals. So We're Not Animals, which is an independent film that John Cusack did, that co-wrote and directed with his friend. And I'm in the opening scene with Al Pacino. And it's just, I don't know, it's just cool, man. It's just, I got to work with Al Pacino. And I look forward to working with him again in a bigger capacity, because we had some interactions. He interacted with me a couple times, and I interacted with him, but the take that they ended up using to edit, he didn't interact with me. But I don't care. I was there, and oh, here's the funny thing. You know, we're in the scene the whole time. We shot for maybe an hour of him just like walking and talking in the scene. And then, you know, the director calls cut, says thank you. I turn around, and what used to be an empty place is now just jam-packed full of people watching us shoot this thing. And the other funny thing with this is that one of the scenes that I was considering to do was a play I've always wanted to do, which is Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie, which Al Pacino actually won a Tony for, playing the lead character in it, which launched his career, acting career, not his movie career. And so when we cut, I knew he was going to go and do this whole like sign autographs or whatever with people before he got away. And I'm not like a big geek fan stuff, and I respect my fellow actors as professionals, but I just had to get his autograph. And what I did, I grabbed my Sharpie I had, and I grabbed that play that I still hadn't bought yet. And I walk up to him, I'm like, Mr. Pacino, you know, I'm a big fan, would you mind? And I could tell him like just going on autopilot. He grabs a pen and he grunts, yeah, sure. And I'm walking kind of behind him as he's moving. And he comes to a dead stop to where I kind of bump into him, and he looks at the play and sees Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie, which if you open up one page, it says starring Al Pacino, because he was the original cast. And he looks up at me and he goes, fuck yeah. And he signs it and hands it to me. And I have that to this day with his autograph on it. So I don't know. It's just, I love that story, because it goes to show you that anything can happen anywhere, anytime, but especially in Hollywood. So that's my Al Pacino story. That's my Throwback Thursday. I'm Brent Harvey. Like, tell me if you have something like that, like you got to work with one of your heroes, in a weird way, like, you know, shooting at McDonald's or something when you were picking up a Coke or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, tell me about it. Leave comments, questions below. If you want to share this with somebody, please do, because we're just trying to get out to the global artistic community and inspire more people, motivate them, and bring more joy and art to the world. So, until next time, stay a-hole, baby.